Hey everyone, it's Jeff Fisher of High School Football America. Well, I'm going to have some fun today. We're going to Southern California. Everybody knows that's my home away from home, even though I don't live there anymore. I love Southern California. But last week, man, what a cool honor for Hemet High School in Southern California. They were the National Football Foundation's Hatchell Cup winner. For those of you not familiar with the Hatchell Cup, it's all about academics, baby. Yeah, what they're doing in the classroom. Yeah, you got to get it done on the football field too, but they're looking at GPAs, and Hemet was the Hatchell Cup winner. 3.57 GPA for the entire team. And in the other box there, we've got the head coach, Jeff Galloway, and we have Draven Lopez, the quarterback, and also the class valedictorian. Yeah, if that wasn't enough, being the quarterback, he's the class valedictorian. Guys, thanks for taking the time here to have a good chat about what you did on the field and in the classroom.
Well, thank you for having us on, Jeff. It's an honor.
It's going to be a lot of fun here. Let's start with you first, Coach. You know, obviously student athlete, that term is thrown around a lot of times, right? And sometimes
Yeah.
the student doesn't get to the front of the student athlete, but you guys have obviously done that. Talk a little bit about your philosophy on how you approach academics with your team.
Um, with our team, and when I came in and took over 3 years ago, academics is one of the priorities. I make sure that they're by CIF standards academically eligible even to practice.
Mhm.
So, and then we set a standard and we set a bar, and our kids for the last 3 years have bought into that standard. They exceed the standard, and I have a ton of support on campus from our administration as well as our teachers. They do a great job in informing me if we have a kid that's not doing well in class. So I get involved with them, and we just make sure that our kids are understanding that when they're out of high school, there's more than just football. They have to go through life.
No doubt about that. Draven, let's talk about what Coach just said there. Obviously, it's fun to play football, no doubt about that, but you got to get grades to play and get on the football field, like you said, even to practice. Tell me a little bit about that philosophy, what you heard there, and how you drink it in, and how you pass it along to your fellow teammates to make sure they're all getting it done in the classroom so you guys can go out there as a team.
Yeah, so grades have been probably the most helpful thing for our program. Like we haven't lost a player to grades in 3 years, I think. Since he took over, we haven't lost a single one. So just that alone, not losing a player to grades is huge. Like my freshman year, we had a freshman starting on varsity and he ended up losing we ended up losing him to grades, and that hurt the team, not only just the dynamic, but also if he's a starter and he loses his spot because he is done with grades, it's really hard to fill that spot mid-season. So just everybody buying into that, the GPA requirements. Like he said, he doesn't let you practice if you don't have a GPA that's eligible. Even though, say, the triad is the deadline for our GPA, if you're below a 2.0 in the summer, you have to go to summer school before you can practice. You don't lift weights. You don't do anything with the program at all. So I think that really that standard has held everybody accountable, and they know that they have to have a 2.0 or have to be above that in order just to practice or lift with the team.
Coach, talk a little bit about, again, it's one thing to say you got to have the grades, right? But it's another thing sometimes when you got teenagers to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm not just talking X's and O's, right? So,
Yeah.
so is it? Do you dangle that carrot on the stick in front of them? Do you a little bit more, iron fist in the velvet glove? How do you make sure they're getting it done?
Well, we do great. I do grade checks on them as well. In going into every triad, we're grade checking them, so I know where they stand as we're getting closer to the grades. There is a line drawn in the sand. You cross the line because you fall below the 2.0 requirement by CIF. You're not playing. You're not practicing. So that line's drawn in the sand. Um, I have a good rapport with most of the teachers on campus, with all our athletes. They'll reach out to me if they're struggling, like I said before. Our administration does a great job in supporting me with that as well.
Hmm.
And it takes a village, right? I mean, it just doesn't take myself. I have a tremendous staff that helps out as well, and also make sure that these young men are abiding by our standards, right? So when we came in, we set a standard, and as a coaching staff, we're all on the same page. So It's not like they can't play one against the other.
Yeah.
And I draw a hard line on grades.
That iron fist in the velvet glove, right?
Yes.
Hey, Draven, as the quarterback of the team, I should point out right now, not only did you get it done in the classroom, you guys had a pretty good season last year, finishing 10-2, making it to the CIF Southern section, quarterfinals in Division 8 and all that. Is there a way for you to account for how the academic side of things helped you guys on the field last season?
Yeah, for sure. Like the accountability in the classroom, you also have accountability on the field. I think just knowing that you have to manage your time the right way with schoolwork helps us in the game, time management, all that stuff, watching film, just paying attention to details. All that stuff helped us succeed. Going into the season, I mean, I think we both thought we were going to struggle this year. We graduated, I think, like 20 something seniors the year before. So it was definitely not expected for us to have this good of a season. I think we had our best season since 1967, which, like I said, was not expected at all. And I think the grades and the accountability over there has played a huge part in that.
Hey, coach, you've got a guy sitting next to you there. We all need smart quarterbacks, right? That's
Yeah.
a no-brainer. I said at the top, 4.57 is the GPA they had there in the news release making the
Yes.
Hatchell Cup announcement. What's it mean to have a guy, pretty good up top here, also hand it off and
It,
throwing the football?
oh yeah, it's something I've never had in all my years of coaching football. And I've been doing this for 27, 28 years now. I've never had an athlete one or two in the class. And to have a quarterback like that who's been in our starting quarterback for the past 4 years on varsity now, and to watch him grow and become the leader, not only on the field, but in the classroom, and all his teammates see that he's able to manage his time and be successful both in the classroom and on the field, it's amazing. And it makes coaching football, it makes it fun because now we can add stuff and he understands
Yeah.
and he picks it up really quick. And then he does a great job of relaying what we want to his teammates. And so it's all working together. It just all melded together this year. And like Draven pointed out earlier, we weren't expected to be 10-2. Graduating 28 seniors last year. And I didn't think we were going to be as good. We were at the semifinals last year. And then this year we ended up in the quarterfinals. And I didn't think we were going to be this good, but it turns out they all bought into our standard. They all bought into the grades. And I think we had close to 20 scholar athletes. And so that's a huge help to have Draven where he is.
All right, we're going to go back to Draven, and I'll give you the same, question to both of you. We'll start with Draven. You guys win the Hatchell Cup. What was that like? What was the atmosphere, when the team heard? Can you summarize it for the people watching around the country?
Yeah, so I was actually in class. I had no idea. I got called in the office to talk to our principal, and that's when they all told us that we had won. They showed me the article. We got to read it and everything. We found out we were getting a brick at the Rose Bowl and stuff like that. And of course, a $10,000 donation to our program. So it was just really cool seeing that it was a whole nation that we were chosen from, not just one school in the country, or not just one school in the state, but one school in the whole country. So definitely really cool, especially because everybody always asks, where's Hemet? No one really knows where it is. So yeah, it was pretty cool when we found out that we won it.
No doubt about that. And it wasn't so bad going to the principal's office at that point, right?
No.
Maybe like, why am I going there? Hey, coach, same question. Take it from there. What can you add to the joy of winning this award?
Oh, it's a tremendous honor. Completely unexpected. I never felt that we would be a number one team in academics in the nation. I knew we were highly qualified to be competitive in that realm, just for the fact of our GPAs and all that stuff that we had. And I try to do my best to get our guys recognized for everything that they do, because it's all about them. It's not about us or the staff. It's all about our players putting in the time and the work. But when I got the notice, like, you got a phone call, and I was in an administrator's office meeting with her, and they said, no, you need to come get this phone call. So I went out there, I got the phone call, and I was shocked. I mean, completely thrown off guard. I had no idea we were even going to be in the running. And this is an amazing honor, and it's a privilege to to have all this recognition now thrown into our program. The money will get put to good use. It'll go to more equipment, which they all need always. And the brick at the Rose Bowl, that's going to be there forever. So this program has submitted their legacy from this year, and it's going to be there forever, and nobody can take that away. So that's a huge honor.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, Draven, I asked you earlier, how the classroom, helped you in football. How did football help you in the classroom? I'm sure in some way, shape, or form, they both, a little back and forth, right?
Yeah, so definitely just having pride and always wanting to be the best, whether it's on the football field or in the classroom. Early in life, that's what sports kind of taught me was always just compete to be the best, and that kind of just translated to school. So whether it was in football, the classroom, baseball, whatever sport I was doing or whatever I was doing, I've always just kind of strived to be the best. My parents have always kind of put that on me. Just never do anything not to the best of your ability. Always work hard and everything like that. So from my freshman year, I took a bunch of AP classes. I was always told that there's no way I'm going to get Val or Sal just because I have weight training and stuff like that. So it would interfere with that. And I just kept taking AP classes, and sure enough, I ended up being one or two in the class.
Yeah. Fun to make people wrong, right? In some
Yeah.
instances.
Exactly.
Hey, Coach, I know you have your quarterback sitting next to you there, but
Yep.
this was not his award. It was a team award. So why don't you, talk a little bit about the overall performance of the team, get some of the kids in there by name. We don't want to leave anybody out if we can do that. We've got enough time here to get the
Yeah.
top ones in there.
Yeah, no, our program is pretty good about supporting each other as far as the teammates go, and then pushing each other to drive the competition part of it. Matthew Gregory, I believe, was the second highest GPA on our team. Tyler Trout was right in there as well, and they're both in the top 10 of their class. They're both seniors, of course. They've done tremendous job. They've been with me for the last 3 years since I've come and taken over. And they're multiple sport athletes. So they compete in different realms. I push them to other sports. So I don't want them just concentrating on one sport. Play all the sports you can play in high school. Enjoy it, have fun. It makes you a well-rounded individual. And we strive to, and I brought the motto in, be great. That's what we say. That's what we preach. That's what I tell them every time we're done. When we leave a meeting, when we leave the field, leave the weight room, it's be great. And that doesn't only mean in football, that means in life. Be great at everything you do, right? Get up in the morning, make your bed, make sure it's the best it's ever looked when you leave the house. So it's just all the little details. Our athletes are just amazing. I mean, we've had some athletes come in that have never played football this year. Kiso Pitchford never played football this year in his life, comes in as a senior and as an impact player. Plus he was a scholar athlete as well. So and he's a basketball player. So we've had another one come in first year basketball player. Never his parents would never let him play football, but he did. Quentin Skinner, he's a basketball player. Great athlete, came in, impact as well. So we've had some success with other athletes coming, and it helps with the kids that are in the program already, pushing each other to be great, to be competitive, and to fight for every little thing that they get, and then pay attention to the details.
Yeah. Hey, Draven, have you got your future figured out here as far as the next level, college? What's on the table next for you?
So my plan is to go play football, at like a Division 2, Division 3 level. So far that's where I'm looking. And if that doesn't work out, I've applied to a couple Ivy League schools to go there for academics and stuff. I want to major in economics and do something with that after school, either like something with economics and sports or coaching or something like that. Start a business, a sports business, just something in the sports lines. But yeah, I plan to major in economics and just keep playing football as long as I can.
Working on that graduation speech yet?
Uh, Not yet. Soon.
Yeah, you may want to get around to that. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
I think you'll be okay with that. Hey, Coach, when you hear that coming out of your QB's mouth, other than whatever the play call may be, what goes through your mind when you hear a young man like that have his stuff together to the point where he can say, "Yeah, I want to do this, this, and this."
And that just solidifies to me that we're doing the right thing, right? It's all about them. It's all about making sure they're successful at the next level when they move on from here. I also coach softball. had a lot of athletes go on to the next level. I have a few football athletes that went into the NFL as well. And it just it solidifies everything that you do when your athletes are successful later in life. And knowing that all of our kids coming out of our program have the best opportunity now because of their academics, their GPA, their mental toughness, everything that they go through in football, I always tell them directly relates to life. It's how you get up when you get knocked down, how you do things in life is going to be projected the rest of your life the way you do it in football.
Yeah.
So to see them successful out of high school, that's all I ask for.
No doubt. This one's for you as we wrap things up here. Um, Obviously, when it comes to a season, right, no matter how good or bad it is, you wipe the slate clean and you're on to 2025. You guys have now basically, for all intents and purposes, won a national championship in academics
Yeah.
and football. What's the message to keep it rolling and let the kids know that, hey, okay, well, next year you got to top maybe that 3.57 and top what this last class did.
So the way I do every year, the message is always be great, right? We're going to be great at everything we do, no matter what it is. And we're also going to try to exceed the standard, right? So every year the standard gets moved. So it goes higher, or it'll never go lower. So we always set the standard a little higher, or the bar a little higher for our athletes. So now coming into next year, the bar set academic wise. So now let's see if we can beat that. I won't ever lower that standard. The administration will come in and support what we do. And like I said, I have a great principal that helps with that. He's actively involved with all these guys. He'll come out to practice games, throw the ball around with them. So he's real active with our athletes, which makes it a lot easier to coach when you have administration that are bought in. But as far as next year goes, we're just going to do what we do and play where your feet are and just be great.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for taking the time and congratulations. It really is a pleasure and an honor to talk to a couple of people associated with what was a great, it's what high school sports is all about, right? Yeah, the
Yeah.
wins and losses are wonderful, but to also do it in the classroom, that's fantastic. So thank you
Yeah.
to both of you and best of luck in the future to both of you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it and appreciate the exposure. And this has just been a whirlwind of excitement. And it's just an honor to be in this position.